Quantum Defiance. Commander Elise Nakamura stood at the command deck of the EDS Paradox, Earth's first and only quantum phase warship. Through the viewport, Jupiter's swirling storms provided a magnificent backdrop as the final system tests were completed. 3 years of secret development had culminated in this revolutionary vessel, humanity's ace in an increasingly mysterious universe. Quantum core stabilized at 98%, Commander, reported Lieutenant Wei, his eyes fixed on holographic displays that monitored the ship's unprecedented power source. The Heisenberg compensators are performing better than expected. Nakamura nodded, allowing herself a moment of pride. The Paradox represented humanity's greatest scientific achievement, a vessel that could manipulate the quantum fabric of space-time itself. Dr. Samira Kamal, the brilliant physicist whose theories had made this possible, had initially faced ridicule from the scientific community. Now her quantum phase technology was Earth's most closely guarded secret. "Commander," called Lieutenant Rodriguez from the sensor station, his voice tense. Multiple objects detected approaching from beyond Neptune's orbit, 11 signatures, moving in perfect formation. The bridge fell silent. Humanity had long suspected it wasn't alone in the universe, but there had never been definitive contact. "Analysis?" Nakamura asked, maintaining her composure. "Definitely artificial constructs. Their propulsion method is unlike anything in our database. They're traveling at approximately 0.3 light speed and decelerating." Rodriguez's fingers danced across his console. "At current velocity, they'll reach Earth in 72 hours. Nakamura straightened her uniform. "Alert UNSC Command. Initiate first contact protocols. I want Dr. Kamal on the bridge immediately." The next hour was a flurry of activity as Earth's governments were notified, and the Paradox prepared for a potential confrontation. Dr. Kamal arrived on the bridge, her expression a mixture of scientific curiosity and apprehension. 11 ships, she asked, studying the sensor data. "Their formation suggests intelligence, coordination. This is it, Commander. First contact. Or first invasion," Nakamura replied. "Can the quantum phase drive be used defensively if needed?" Kamal hesitated. "Theoretically, yes. We could generate localized phase shifts that would disrupt conventional matter. But we've only tested the system 3 times. Using it in combat would be unpredictable. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. Lieutenant Wei, prepare a first contact package. Mathematical sequences, peaceful imagery, the standard approach." "The alien vessels have adjusted course," Rodriguez reported. "They're now on an intercept trajectory with us. They've detected the Paradox." Nakamura made her decision. "We'll meet them halfway. Better they encounter us first, then approach Earth directly. Dr. Kamal, prepare the quantum phase drive." "Commander, the risks are necessary. Prepare the drive." The crystalline heart of the Paradox began to pulse with energy that seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The bridge crews secured themselves as reality itself prepared to bend around them. "Quantum phase drive engaged," announced Y. For a moment, every crew member experienced the unsettling sensation of existing in multiple places at once. The viewport displayed colors that human eyes weren't designed to process. Then reality snapped back into focus, and the Paradox had traversed millions of kilometers instantaneously, positioning itself directly between the alien fleet and Earth. "Phase shift successful," Wei reported. "All systems nominal." "The alien vessels are adjusting course," said Rodriguez. "They're slowing down." "Open communication channels," ordered Nakamura. "Let's introduce ourselves." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing a being that was undeniably alien. Its body was tall and slender with 4 arms and skin that shimmered with patterns of light. Its face contained multiple eyes arranged in a geometric pattern, and when it spoke, the sound was melodic, almost musical. The ship's translation system processed for several seconds before rendering. "Impossible. Your species should not possess quantum manipulation technology. Our surveys classified your civilization as pre-interstellar, barely capable of reaching your neighboring planets. Nakamura stood tall. I am Commander Elise Nakamura of the Earth Defense Ship Paradox. Your presence in our system without prior communication is concerning. We are prepared to establish peaceful relations, but will defend our world if necessary. The alien skin patterns shifted rapidly. I am High Commander Zithel of the Galactic Concordance. Quantum manipulation requires understanding of multidimensional mechanics. No species has ever achieved this independently at your developmental stage. Human minds work differently than you might expect. Nakamura replied. Now, may I ask your purpose in our system? The aliens seemed to consider this. We came to assess your world for integration. Normally, this would involve guiding your species through controlled technological advancement over several centuries until you reached appropriate maturity for introduction to the galactic community. The diplomatic phrasing didn't fool anyone on the bridge. Guiding likely meant technological restrictions and cultural influence at best, subjugation at worst. I believe, Nakamura said carefully, that our demonstration suggests we have already reached an appropriate level of development. Perhaps we should discuss equal relations instead. High Commander Zithel's skin flashed with patterns. This is unprecedented. The Concordance Council must be informed of your unexpected capabilities. We will withdraw to a neutral position while communications are established. As the transmission ended, a cheer erupted across the bridge. Humanity's first contact hadn't resulted in immediate conflict. Well done, everyone, Nakamura said. But this is just the beginning. In the days that followed, representatives from Earth met with delegates from the Galactic Concordance aboard a neutral station positioned in the asteroid belt. Dr. Kummel led the scientific exchange, carefully controlling what technological information was shared while learning about the galactic community. The revelations were staggering. Dozens of spacefaring civilizations existed, organized into several major political blocs. The Concordance was one of the more powerful groups, comprising 12 distinct species who had achieved interstellar travel millennia before humanity. They'd been watching us for centuries, UN Secretary-General Torres told Nakamura during a secure briefing. They classified our civilization as pre-emergence and expected at least another 200 years before we developed technology advanced enough to warrant introduction to their community. And now? Nakamura asked. Now they're scrambling to adjust their protocols, Torres replied with a hint of satisfaction. The Concordance is pushing for us to be granted provisional recognition in what they call the Galactic Assembly. On the final day of initial negotiations, High Commander Zithel approached Nakamura privately. Your species surprises us, Commander, the alien said, bioluminescent patterns shifting thoughtfully across its skin. We have observed thousands of emerging civilizations. None have made the quantum leap without guidance. Perhaps you underestimated human creativity, Nakamura suggested. Perhaps, Zithel agreed. Or perhaps humanity possesses unique cognitive pathways. This will be studied extensively. The commander paused. A warning, Commander. Not all galactic powers will welcome your sudden emergence. Some will see threat where we see potential. Nakamura nodded, understanding the unspoken message. Humanity's journey to the stars had only just begun, and the path ahead would not be without challenges. As the Earth delegation prepared to return home, Dr. Kummel joined Nakamura at the viewport. Together, they watched Earth appear as a small blue marble against the vast blackness of space. They're afraid of us, Kummel observed. With good reason, Nakamura replied. We've upset their carefully ordered universe. What happens next? Nakamura considered the question. We prepare. We learn everything we can about this new galactic community, and we make sure the paradox isn't our only card to play when the real challenges come. Kummel nodded, her mind already racing with new quantum theories. Humanity had earned its place among the stars, but keeping it would require all their ingenuity and courage. Galactic reckoning. 6 months after first contact, Earth was a transformed world. Knowledge that humanity was not alone in the universe had unified the planet in unprecedented ways. Ancient rivalries faded as nations pooled resources to develop a fleet of ships based on the quantum phase technology pioneered by the paradox. Ambassador Jamal Hariri adjusted his formal diplomatic attire as the EDS paradox approached the massive structure known as Concordance Prime, the heart of the Galactic Concordance's governance. As Earth's first official representative to the Galactic Assembly, the weight of responsibility rested heavily on his shoulders. "Nervous?" Commander Nakamura asked, joining him at the viewport. "Terrified," Hariri admitted with a smile. "I'm about to address representatives of 27 spacefaring civilizations, most of which have been traversing the stars since before humans invented agriculture. Just remember what got us here," Nakamura said. "They may have history, but we have innovation. They may have numbers, but we have adaptability." The paradox docked with Concordance Prime, and the Earth delegation was escorted to the assembly chamber, a massive amphitheater where representatives from across the galaxy gathered. The architecture was breathtaking. Materials that flowed like liquid while maintaining structural integrity, gravity-defying constructs, and ambient lighting that seemed to emanate from nowhere and everywhere simultaneously. As Hariri took his place at the speaking podium, he could feel dozens of alien eyes studying him, evaluating this newcomer to their ancient order. "Esteemed representatives," he began, his voice steady despite his nerves. "On behalf of Earth and humanity, I extend greetings and gratitude for this historic opportunity. Though we are new to your galactic community, we come with open minds and the sincere desire to contribute positively to our shared future among the stars." The speech continued, outlining humanity's hopes for cooperation, trade, and mutual advancement. Most representatives listened attentively, but Hariri noticed the delegation from the Vrex hegemony, a militaristic species with scaled skin and predatory features, watching with visible disdain. After the formal session concluded, Hariri was approached by Kelshar, a representative of the Phylaxian Concord, one of the older civilizations in the assembly. "An impressive introduction, Ambassador," the crystalline being commented, its voice resonating from its entire structure rather than a specific appendage. "Many doubted the wisdom of granting Earth provisional status, but I found your words encouraging." "Thank you, Representative Kelshar. We hope to prove that humanity deserves its place here." "Your quantum phase technology already proves that." Kelshar's crystalline form shifted hues slightly, which raises fascinating questions about human cognitive evolution. "Perhaps we might arrange a scientific exchange. Our laboratories would be most interested in studying how your species approached quantum mechanics from such unconventional angles." Before Hariri could respond, another figure joined them. The Vrex representative, Sub-Commander Drask. His scaled skin was tensed, a biological indicator of his displeasure. "The assembly grows soft," Drask said, not bothering with pleasantries. "Allowing primitive species admission based on a single technological fluke, the Vrex required 3 centuries of probationary status before full recognition. Perhaps the standards have evolved since then," Hariri replied diplomatically. Drask's eyes narrowed. "Or perhaps the standards have been compromised. The quantum phase technology your species claims to have independently developed bears remarkable similarities to theoretical work from the ancient precursor archives. Curious, wouldn't you agree?" The implication was clear. Drask was suggesting humanity had somehow stolen or been given advanced technology, rather than developing it independently. "I assure you, Sub-Commander, human quantum theory arose from our own scientific tradition." Hariri maintained his composure. "Dr. Kamal would be happy to explain the development process." "Save your explanations," Drask interrupted. "The hegemony will be watching Earth closely." With that, he turned and left. Back aboard the Paradox, Hariri briefed Commander Nakamura and Dr. Kamal about the encounter. "The Vrex are suspicious of how we developed quantum phase technology," he explained. "They mentioned something called the precursor archives." Dr. Kamal frowned. "I've been studying the scientific database the Concordance provided. The precursors were an ancient species that vanished approximately 50,000 years ago. They were significantly more advanced than current galactic civilizations, and much of their technology remains beyond modern understanding. Could our quantum theory actually be similar to precursor work? Nakamura asked. Without access to those archives, it's impossible to say, Kamal replied. But our approach was born from purely human thinking. I started with quantum loop gravity theory and took it in a direction that was considered mathematically unsound by my peers. The Vreks won't be easily convinced, Hariri warned. And I don't think they're alone in their suspicion. 3 weeks later, the Paradox was returning to Earth after completing its diplomatic mission, when Lieutenant Rodriguez detected an anomaly. Commander, multiple ships decloaking at coordinates marked 357 by 122. The view screen showed 5 vessels appearing seemingly from nowhere, their design unmistakably belonging to the Vreks hegemony. Red alert. Battle stations, Nakamura ordered calmly. Open communications. The image of Sub-Commander Drask appeared on screen. Commander Nakamura, what a fortunate encounter, so far from established transit routes. This doesn't appear to be a coincidence, Sub-Commander, Nakamura replied. We're on a direct course to Earth in neutral space. Your presence here is concerning. Merely a training exercise, Drask said with a predatory smile. Though since you're here, we're curious about your remarkable ship. The Hegemony Science Directorate would appreciate a closer inspection of your quantum phase technology. For verification purposes. That technology is classified, Nakamura stated firmly. We respectfully decline and request clear passage to continue our journey. Drask's expression hardened. That was not a request, Commander. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. If your technology was truly developed independently, you have nothing to fear from our inspection. And if we refuse, then we must assume you have something to hide and will take appropriate measures to protect the galactic community from potentially stolen precursor technology. The transmission ended, and Nakamura turned to her crew. Options. Their weapons are powering up, Rodriguez reported. 5 against 1. Commander. Conventional analysis suggests we're outmatched. Conventional analysis doesn't account for quantum phase technology, Dr. Kamal interjected. Commander, I've been working on a theoretical application, a targeted phase shift that could temporarily move portions of our ship out of conventional spacetime, essentially making us invulnerable to standard weapons. Theoretical being the key word, Nakamura noted. The principles are sound, Kamal insisted. It would require precise calculations, but it's possible. Nakamura considered for only a moment. Make it happen, Doctor. Lieutenant Wei, evasive maneuvers. Bias time. The Paradox accelerated, attempting to break away from the Vreks formation. The enemy ships responded immediately, firing warning shots across their bow. They're trying to disable our engines, Rodriguez called out as the ship shuddered. Shields down to 60%. In the engine room, Dr. Kamal worked frantically, reconfiguring the quantum core to generate a localized phase field. Commander, I need 2 minutes to complete the calculations. We may not have 2 minutes, Nakamura replied as another hit rocked the ship. Lieutenant Wei, prepare a short-range quantum jump. Just enough to confuse their targeting systems. The crystalline heart of the Paradox pulsed, and for a brief instant, the ship existed in multiple points in space simultaneously before resolidifying 1,000 kilometers from its previous position. Dr. Kamal, status. Nakamura demanded. Phase field configuration complete. Activating now. A shimmering field of energy enveloped the Paradox, but this was unlike conventional shields. The very fabric of spacetime around the ship began to distort, creating a bubble where the quantum probability of weapon impacts approached 0. The Vreks ships fired again, but their energy beams passed harmlessly through the Paradox as if it were a ghost. It's working, Wei exclaimed. Their weapons can't touch us. Not for long, Kamal warned. This field is highly unstable. We have maybe 3 minutes before quantum degradation forces a collapse. Then let's make them count, Nakamura decided. Tactical, target their propulsion systems. Precision strikes only. We want to disable, not destroy. The Paradox's quantum-enhanced weapons lanced out, slicing through the Vrex ship's engines with surgical precision. Within minutes, all 5 enemy vessels were adrift, their propulsion systems offline. "Open a channel," Nakamura ordered. Sub-Commander Drask's face appeared, his scaled features tight with rage. "This unprovoked attack on hegemony vessels will not be forgotten," he snarled. "Unprovoked?" Nakamura raised an eyebrow. "Our sensor logs clearly show your ships attempting to intercept and board a diplomatic vessel in neutral space. I wonder how the Assembly would interpret such actions." Drask fell silent, realizing his position. "Now," Nakamura continued, "we could continue this confrontation, or we could both agree that this unfortunate incident never occurred. Your choice, Sub-Commander." 2 weeks later, the diplomatic fallout was still being managed. The Vrex had filed a formal protest with the Assembly, claiming the Earth vessel had malfunctioned and mistakenly perceived a threat. Earth's counter-evidence was compelling, but the political damage was done. The galaxy was now sharply divided over humanity's sudden rise. In a private chamber on Concordance Prime, Ambassador Hariri met with representatives from 7 influential civilizations, including High Commander Zithel and Representative Kelshar. "The Vrex miscalculated," Zithel observed. "They believed your quantum technology was either a fluke or stolen. They never expected you to have developed additional applications." The phase field was particularly impressive, Kelshar added, its crystalline form pulsing with what Hariri had learned to recognize as excitement. "Such innovation confirms what many of us suspected. Human cognition follows patterns that most galactic species do not." "Is that why we're here?" Hariri asked, looking around at the gathered representatives. "To discuss human cognition." "We're here to discuss alliance," Zithel replied. "For millennia, technological development throughout the galaxy has followed predictable patterns. Species advance along expected trajectories, with innovations occurring at anticipated intervals. But humanity, your species, defies these patterns." "We think differently," Hariri acknowledged. "Precisely," Kelshar interjected. "And this difference may be crucial in the times ahead. The Vrex incident is merely a symptom of a larger problem. Stagnation. Most galactic civilizations have reached technological plateaus. Innovation has slowed. Progress has become incremental rather than revolutionary." "And you think humanity can help change that?" Hariri asked. "We believe a formal alliance would benefit all involved," Zithel confirmed. "Your quantum innovations in exchange for our accumulated knowledge and resources. Together, we might achieve what neither could alone." As the meeting concluded, Hariri transmitted the proposal to Earth. The response was swift and unanimous. Humanity would join the alliance. Aboard the Paradox, Commander Nakamura and Dr. Kamal watched as Earth grew larger in the viewport, both contemplating the rapid changes of the past months. "Did you ever imagine this is where your quantum theories would lead?" Nakamura asked. Kamal shook her head. "Never. I was just trying to solve a mathematical puzzle that everybody else thought was impossible. And instead, you redefined humanity's place in the universe." Nakamura smiled. "The question now is, what impossible puzzle will we solve next?" As the Paradox entered Earth orbit, preparations were already underway for the next phase of human expansion. The quantum frontier had only just begun to reveal its possibilities, and humanity, with its unique perspective and relentless innovation, was perfectly positioned to explore them. The stars, once impossibly distant, now seemed within reach, and the galaxy would never be the same.